Welcome to Anytime, Anywhere, mixed media journaling for any age. In the program today, we're going to focus on the kind of journaling you might do for a special project or interest of yours. Things like cooking or gardening, a nature journal that you do as a family, art making or writing. This is the kind of journaling project that is much more long-term and might be the sort of thing that you add to only sporadically over time. Here's a sampling of the kinds of things you might be working with. Blank or lined pages, spiral bound, brown. Black can be nice. It means using a special gel pen or gluing in any text that you want to add. Or even a big sort of scrapbook, sketchbook-style paper pad that gives you lots of room to work with and spread out in. Here are some of the kinds of things you might want to work with when adding images to your journal. Pencils and rulers, pencil crayons and scissors, regular crayons, and of course glue or tape for adding what you've made to your journal. These are watercolor pencil crayons and they can be really fun to work with. A quick little sketch can be enlivened with just the addition of a little bit of water. I always find it kind of magical and fun to watch this transformation. A gardening journal is a perfect example of something that you're likely to work on over years rather than all in one go. It's a mix of both a visioning tool. This is how I'd like to plan the garden. This is where I'd like to put certain some things in the future. I'd like to build a stone wall, that sort of thing. And also a record of what's actually happening. You might want to record things like the first and last snowfall, the date that you notice honeybees or butterflies for the first time. And gradually, over years, you get a sense of the cycling and patterns in your garden. And that can help with future planning as well and how you want to proceed. The other thing about a garden is there's often a gap between when we get the idea or the yearning for something in our garden and when it's best to plant it. So spring arrives and you realize there's another spot in your garden that you'd like to add tulips to, or you'd really like to have a lilac bush next year, but you might not want to, you're not going to plant those tulip bulbs till the fall. And who knows when you're going to plant the lilac bush. Or your child says in the fall to you, I really want sunflowers next year. So you make a note and you remember that in the spring the two of you are going to plant those sunflower seeds. A cooking journal can be a fun project too. You may normally be getting all of your recipes online or from your favorite cookbooks, but a journal can be a place where if you're wanting to learn more, you can do so there. You might want to be drawing pictures or getting color photocopies of all of the herbs and spices, for instance, and learning more about where they come from, how you might use them differently than you already are, that sort of thing. You can create little pockets and put in recipes that have been handwritten by people you love. So your grandmother's recipe for brownies, your best friend's recipe for a cassoulet or soup, or consider getting your child to handwrite the recipe for their favorite cookie or smoothie. By doing this, you not only have a copy of the recipe, but you have it in the handwriting of that person who you love so much. And it will always be a reminder of them and that recipe they gave you. And don't forget the sort of old-fashioned concept of having a recipe box. That becomes a sort of three-dimensional form of journaling. They often come with dividers, or you can make your own. So desserts and breads and main courses, and it means you're physically looking through all those recipes, handwritten by people you know, and that you've accumulated over years as being the ones you love best. An art journal can be a place where you're experimenting with different media, trying out your new watercolor pencil crayons, or experimenting with dry or oil pastel, that kind of thing. It can also be a record keeper, a place where you put some of the little projects that you've been working on as sort of a journaling of your own growth as an artist. Journal that you're keeping for your writing, where you're keeping track of ideas and plans for poetry or short stories or a novel, would really benefit, I would think, by the addition of images and visual material. Things like drawings, photographs, even color swatches, writing down the name of music that's playing in the background. Anything that is going to help evoke sense of place and the feelings and the story that you want to work on at a later date. Another kind of journal you might want to keep is a natural history or environmental journal. This lends itself really well to a project you would do as a family, and everyone can be contributing. So in addition to things like drawings and photographs that you put in, you could include things, actual items from the natural world. Of course, you want them to be as two-dimensional as possible to make them easier to handle. But you can press flowers or leaves. You can get samples of sand from a beach that you were at, bird feathers, any of a number of things can go into that journal. course, your library, KFPL, has many resources of information to inspire your imagination. So for a wealth of guidance and some gorgeous ideas, check out some of these. Thank you for joining me for Anytime, Anywhere, mixed media journaling for any age. There's another program in this series which focuses on personal journals and travel diaries. And remember, pack yourself a little kit of your favorite art supplies and your journal, and you'll be able to do record keeping of recipes and writing ideas, art ideas, and whatnot anywhere you go. And to make it an even smaller kit, leave the book and just put some extra papers in your container, and it can go with you on a canoe trip or a day hike or any adventure.